All right, so we're going to be talking about, like I said before, a game official from an educational perspective. And the reason why I'm doing this, and the reason why we do these classes, I'm hoping that it is helping. This is something I've been wanting to do for years. I'm talking about since 2004. I've been my goal to do these type of classes. It was in person, and it was like just 8 of us, and then now it's a whole bunch of you guys. So thank God for that. But again, the purpose for this is for us to understand what it really means to be a game official. I see a lot of individuals out there masquerading as game officials. All right, they treat the uniform more as a costume than a uniform. Right? They're out there pretending to be officials, pretending to get money, pretending to get paid. But for a lot of us who've been doing this for years and take it very seriously, it's just a slap because for the most part, I got to get paid the same amount you're getting paid, and you're out there just BSing. So the whole purpose of this is to develop a newfound respect for what it means to be a game official, like to have honor, like you're a soldier. That this is important what we do. We know we get a lot of flack for it. We get a lot of negative feedback from coaches and pushback, but it's part of what we do. It's part of our job, and so that's what it's all about for me, anyways. And so I want to revisit the definition I came up for what a game official is. I'm the type of person that I want to. What is a game official? If you look it up in the Google, it gives you some generic, but it don't mean nothing to me unless I like literally think about it and what it means to be a game official. And for me, a game official is an unbiased professional who is contracted to ensure a contest is played fairly while overseeing the safety and sportsmanship of its participants. All right, that is what a game official is, and that's what PGO stand for, professional game official. And being a professional is knowing everything there is to know about your profession. If you go into a doctor's a doctor's office, they're gonna have magazines on the ground talking about being a doctor, health magazines. All this stuff is gonna be around their house because they're a doctor. If you go by somebody who's a lawyer, they're gonna have lawyer books. They're gonna have books dealing about cases and precedents. Why? Because they are lawyers. And if you come around me, you're gonna see a whole bunch of books. Why? Because that's what I am. I'm a game official. And so I have all types of reading materials that help me become a better official. So always keep that in mind. So again, a player who practices long hours deserves competent game officials who have a complete understanding of the letter as well as the spirit and intent of the rules, and who administer them consistently and fairly. Right? And we talked about what it means to be a competent game official over and over and over again. This is part of it. This is one leg of your journey to be a competent game official, or our journey to be a competent game official. All right. The objectives didn't change, but we'll cover it again. To review the 12 actions on the field that would warrant an official timeout. To review the 2 neglected areas where officials continually fail to acknowledge an official's timeout. To learn the importance of developing the discipline and consistency traits that is required for an official mechanics to become an automatic reflex. And what I'm saying is this right here is not an automatic reflex. Stopping the clock, we do it for certain things, but in 2 different areas, over and over again, is neglected. And so let's talk about this last part here. To learn the importance of developing the discipline and consistency traits that is required for an official's mechanics to become an automatic reflex. VCR. V is for visualization. visualize yourself doing the action on certain plays, right? We talked about one of the neglected places that we don't see officials acknowledging as official timeout is the end of a kick. On a kickoff, as soon as that ball is dead, every official on the field should be stopping the clock, saying it's an official timeout. Not just grabbing the football, not just walking as you have nothing to do. That is part of your job. Conscientious. If you're not used to doing it a lot, like me when I first started, I talked to myself. I'm like, in my mind's eye, I said, okay, at the end of the kick, I got to stop the clock. All right, and I was very conscientious about doing it. And then R is reps and repetition, right? You want to do it as much as you can all the time. Before you know it, it becomes an automatic reflex that you don't have to think about doing anymore. Why? Because you've done it over and over again, and it becomes a reflex. So we've been here before. We're down at Article 7, Rule 3, Section 5, Article 7. I'm not going to cover too much. We already covered for measurement of first downs, when a first down is declared, following a change of team possession. And that's the one that we talked about on the kick. There are a lot of officials not stopping the clock, and we showed some videos. When a captain and coaches are notified for time remaining, for a player in need of equipment repair, to dry or change the football, for an unusual heat and humidity, which may create health risks to the players. When coach-referee conference concerning the misapplication of a rule results in the referee altering his ruling after a foul to administer a penalty, for any unusual delay in getting the ball ready for play, for a TV/radio timeout that is permitted or granted as authorized by the state association policy, and for a 1-minute intermission between the first and second and third and fourth periods, followed the try and successful kick. All right. So that's what we're going to be covering. And so let's get started. So the first one, like I said, we already talked about 6. We're going to close it out with 6 today. The first one is for unusual heat or humidity, which may create a health risk to the players. We've been having fallout left and right and players over the last couple of weeks. So this is important. The officials' timeout for this is important. Now, if you remember, I sent out a couple of weeks ago on taking this course from NFHS, learn.com. It's a free course. You just got to set up an account, choose the state, and then find the course, right? The course was free. It wasn't that long, but it's important, right? And to let you know, guys, look, I take it too. So I completed on August 15, 2025. I want to let you know I don't just put it out there. I do it myself. So it's very important that we take the course, and it just benefits us all around. This is something that was put out by NFHS back in the day. Officials, unlimited use of 357G. Unlimited use, right? I mean, I know we do it, protocol is like halfway between the games. If we're doing a 10-minute game, is at 5 or somewhere around there. If we're doing an 8-minute game, is at the 4-minute range or somewhere around there. But it can be used at any time. You're going to have multiple water breaks in the same period, okay? Alert both coaches that the breaks may be necessary, and the referee will determine when needed. When officials' timeouts for a heat is called, allow any number of team attendants. Teams can go to the sideline for water as much time as needed. Also, officials need to watch out for each other. Officials could suffer from heat. And again, we had several officials that not working this week because they had to be transmitted to the hospital because of heat illnesses. So, like I said before, some of y'all didn't hear this. You need to hydrate yourself way before Saturday, okay? Think about a really dry sponge versus a sponge that's been saturated in water. When you put water on a dry sponge, it takes time. It rolls off the sponge because the water hasn't saturated into the pores of that sponge. So the same way, we need to hydrate way before Saturday. If you're waiting to Saturday, when you get hit with 93 degrees, 95 degrees, 100 degrees sun, and then call yourself trying to hydrate yourself, you're behind the ball game, right? You're behind the power curve. So start hydrating early before you get out on the field. All right. So when it gets down to a timeout, any timeout could be used for an official timeout. And you see right here 357G. And then they can use any timeout they like. They can stay in the middle or they can go to the side. Now remember, if they want to choose to use this timeout, only 3 attendants, none who are coaches, can be on the field. Again, I stress this because I continue to see officials not controlling their sidelines and allowing these coaches to just run roughshod and take control of this game. Believe it or not, these little control things that we have in place, procedures, coaches can't go in the middle of the field. Only one coach. Coaches stay off the field. Sideline control. That established our dominance and our control over the game. When we start allowing coaches to just roughshod over us and ignore us in this area, they ignore us in all the areas. You got to be more diligent to prevent these coaches from just going in where they want on the field, right? It's amazing. Coaches want you to call holding all day. They want you to call blocking the back all day. They want you to call false start and encroachment all day. But when it gets down to them and them obeying the rules in the same rule book, they don't want to obey it. So I tell the coach, if you're not going to listen, then I don't got to call holding no more, right? Right? Because this is the same rule book. All right? All the rules are important, and these rules are just as important. Now remember, if they want to all be on the field, fine. On a water break, all go to the side. And then official headlinesman, line judge, make sure they're getting water. Okay, make sure you're getting water. Everybody should be getting water or whatever you use for hydration. Again, it's so important that we hydrate. All right, so let's get to the next one. When a coach-referee conference concerning the misapplication of a rule result in the referee altering his ruling. Now we're going to spend a little time on this one. Not a lot, but enough, because I'm sure a lot of people don't understand, a lot of officials don't understand this coach-referee conference thing. And so we want to just touch bases and elevate our education a little bit. All right, in Rule 3.5.11, it says a player directed by his coach or the head coach may request and be granted a timeout for the purpose of a coach and referee reviewing a decision which may have result from misapplication or misinterpretation of the rule, provided the request is made prior to the time the ball becomes live following the play to be reviewed, unless the period has officially ended. When a timeout is so granted, the referee will confer with the coach at the sideline in front of his team box in the field of play. If the conference results in the referee altering the ruling, the opposing coach will be notified, revisions made, and the timeout shall be an official's timeout. If the referee's ruling prevails, the timeout remains charged to the team requesting the timeout for the conference. Now, so look at this part here first. So again, when you start trying to read the rule book, it's a lot of words, and you could gloss over these words. And so one of the things we're trying to do here is get you your own method on how to read the rule book and comprehend what you're reading. So for me, instead of starting at the top, I'm starting here. All right, and we're going to look at this. The when, the who, the where. Okay, when, timeout granted. Ours are official timeout. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a little bit more. Who, the referee, wing official, and the head coach. Now, in that rule, it said nothing about a wing official, but in the mechanics it does. And we look at the mechanics, I'll show you there. And where is important? Sideline in front of his team box in the field of play. Not in the center of the field. Not him walking into the hashes talking to you, referee, but it's on the sideline in the field of play in front of his team box. But again, this is about control, right? If you let a coach just run up to you, take control, you lost control, and you can forget about having control for the rest of the day, right? When a coach started walking, I said, Coach, no, this is not talking space. Talking space is in front of your team box. This is my space, not yours. We don't share this space. This is my space. So if you want to talk to me, we talk at the sideline in front of your team box. Okay, let's look at the top part. A player directed by his coach or the head coach may request and be granted a timeout for the purpose of the coach and referee reviewing decision, which may have result from the misapplication and misinterpretation of a rule, provided the request is made prior to the time the ball becomes live following the play to be reviewed, unless the period has officially ended. Again, a lot of words. So let's break it down. The first one is request a timeout by a player or a head coach. So we go back to the front of section 5 of Article 2, C. Article 2, it says a charge team timeout occurs when the ball is dead and a timeout is requested and granted for the purpose of reviewing a game official's application of a rule which may have misapplied or misinterpreted. The timeout remains charged to the requesting team if the no change in the ruling results. And then now in section 5, after a team has used its permissible charged timeouts for a half, any subsequent request shall be denied unless it is for the review of a possible misinterpretation or misapplication of a rule. So what does this tell us? One, if they have a charged timeout, they have to use it if they want to take this coach-referee conference. Two, if they don't have any timeouts, we still allow them to have their conference. All right? So it's going to be either a charged timeout or an official's timeout. Either way, the coach still has this avenue that the rules provide for them to question a referee's misapplication of a rule. So, review a decision which may result from the misapplication or the misinterpretation. Here is out of the case book, a case play involving a misapplication of a rule. Following fourth down incomplete forward pass late in the fourth period, a timeout is properly requested for a coach-referee conference regarding possible misapplication of the rule. Now we're going to look at B, we're not going to look at A. The coach of A questions why no pass interference by the defense was called and why the covering official appropriately signaled the pass was not catchable. All right. In either case, the referee determines that the coach was correct and an incorrect ruling, an inappropriate signal has been applied. A penalty marker may be dropped and the pass interference penalized. Misapplication of a rule or incorrect signal may result in picking up a flag or dropping a flag to indicate a foul did not occur and giving the appropriate signal. Now, we're going to talk about high school and fairy tale, and we're going to talk about youth and reality. All right? Because you can already picture yourself dropping this flag and calling pass interference after your wing official already said it was not pass interference, and seeing the head coach on the opposing team or the offended team go ballistic. They're going to go ballistic. Like, you can't do that, he's going to tell you. But we can do that. Another thing I want you to understand, as I was thinking about where we get these misapplication and misinterpretation of the rules, because I'm like, I don't get it. And it hit me because I've been working on a lot of you guys and a lot of other officials. The misapplication and misinterpretation of the rule comes when we try to mimic what we see on TV, right? That's why a lot of us use the word offsides when that word does not exist in high school football. We hear it and see it on TV, so we think that word exists. We hear the commentator saying, well, that pass was uncatchable, so there's no foul. In high school, that is not so. If there's any contact by any eligible receiver against another receiver, and in the direction of the ball was passed, it's pass interference. If the ball was catchable or uncatchable. But see, that's the difference between high school rules and college or NFL, where we try to pick up our rule knowledge from, which has nothing to do with the type of football we do, unless you're in Texas or you're reffing a battle tournament and they go by college rules. We go by National Federation High School rules, and uncatchable is not a signal in our rule book, and it doesn't apply as an exception in our rules. So by an official saying, hey, it's uncatchable, and that's the only reason why they didn't call pass interference, the coach has a right to call a coach referee conference and say, hey, what is that? That's not even a rule. And this is where courage comes in at, because now you have to say, coach, you're right, throw the flag and penalize the pass interference, even though your official on your crew or you gave a wrong signal and a wrong misapplication of the rule. So what I want to do, I want to cover 3 areas, because there's more. There's a lot more. But I want to cover 3 areas where, as an official, if you're learning football from what you see on Saturdays and Sundays, you're officiating incorrectly, you're misapplying, misinterpreting a rule. And so I want to cover 3 areas where I see, there's more than that, where we get in trouble at. 1, NCAA, nullifying a touchdown for a live ball unsportsmanlike conduct foul. NCAA has no incidental face mask. NCAA have a defensive fouls. Majority of defensive fouls is an automatic first down. And the NFHS, a touchdown scores and it sticks on a live ball unsportsmanlike conduct foul. So the NCAA, because of the unsportsmanlike conduct, and they were emphasizing on it, they changed the rule to where if there's unsportsmanlike conduct prior to the touchdown, the ball would be brought back to the spot of the foul and nullify the score. In high school, that is not so. And the reason why I say this, in 2004, I learned this. I learned that you cannot do this. But in 2010, someone did it in a national tournament because they thought it was a rule. And in 2019, we're still doing the same stuff that I learned in 2004 was not legal. So we don't call back touchdowns for unsportsmanlike conduct fouls or non-player fouls. Okay. I always put it in this way when they get down to high school. Did the foul have a direct effect on the play or put a player in danger, like a blindside block or something like that, right? So you think about an unsportsmanlike, let's say the runner was taunting, going into the end zone. Did that taunt stop him from scoring? Did that give him an advantage because he taunted? No. So he earns what he got. He get to keep his touchdown, right? If a coach steps on the field to watch and you throw unsportsmanlike conduct because that coach stepped on the field, did that coach stepping on the field, not interfering with anyone, did it stop his player for scoring a touchdown? No. So the touchdown sticks. If the coach cussed you out or one of your crew members out before the runner score, did that profanity cause that runner not to gave that runner disadvantage or advantage? No. So just look at it. Wait, if for unsportsmanlike conduct, it was non-contact fouls or non-player fouls. It has nothing to do with the touchdown. So it does not call the touchdown back. Okay. In high school, the 5-yard face mask penalty still exists. The incidental face mask is still 5 yards. And I bring this up because about 5 years ago, whenever they changed this rule, I'm not certain. We had a quote. I was doing a game, and we had a quote unquote a referee who was a coach on the sideline, and when we called the 5-yard face mask, he was like, "Oh no, everything is 15 now. They got rid of the 5-yard face mask." I'm like, "Excuse me?" He said, "Yeah, they got rid of the 5-yard face mask. Every foul's a 15 now." I'm like, "No, the 5-yard face mask still exists." But because he watched college and he heard them say they take it out of college, he thought that applied to the high school youth level as well. But he even misapplied that because in college, they just ignore it. So if you grab and release, it's not a foul at all. They just ignore it. They don't call that a 15. They just say, "Oop, it's in, it's out." It's only a 15 if you pull and tug. That's when it becomes a 15. So, and it's not just touching it. And again, you hear coaches, he touches face mask. That's a 5-yard, that's a face mask. No, there has to be a grab on the mouthpiece in here, up here, in the holes of the helmet. That constitutes a face mask. But the 5-yard face mask still exists in high school football. And in high school football, there's only 3 defensive fouls that you're automatic first down. 3. It's not defensive unsportsmanlike conduct. It's not defensive pass interference. All right. Or, that's automatic first down. And you hear the commentators, even on the youth games, an automatic first down. No. The only 3 things that give you automatic first down, we stay up the middle of the line, right? Roughing the snapper on a scrimmage kick or free kick, or field goal. Roughing the passer on a pass play, or roughing the kicker or holder on a kick play. Those are the only things in high school football that gives us an automatic first down. All right. And for a caveat, a player moving on an offensive line or moving to his line, unless it simulates a snap, is not false start. See, in college, an illegal shift is a false start. It's a dead ball foul, false start. In high school, it's not a dead ball foul. We throw the flag and we let the play go on for an illegal shift. I hear swing officials, "What you got?" False start. He was moving to the line. That's not a false start. That's an illegal shift or illegal motion, which all is a live ball play. We allow the play to continue. We don't kill the play for those. That's a bonus nugget. All right. Requesting prior to the ball becoming live following the play to be reviewed. Here goes a simple case play here. It is 3rd and 8 from the 45, A's 45, when A1 throws an incomplete forward pass. Erroneously, the ball is spotted on the 50-yard line, the ball marked ready for play. K1 punts the ball into R's end zone. Following the down, the R captain requests a timeout so the coach may discuss the misapplication of the rule with the referee on the missing of the spot the ball after 3rd down. Ruling, it is too late to make any corrections. The error has to be recognized and correction made before the ball snapped on fourth down. Okay, so if there's a misapplication on first down and we run second down, we cannot go back and fix it because we are, hey, live let live. So if a coach want to bring something up, it has to be done before the ball becomes live. If not, it's too late to correct it. So here is the mechanics for the coach referee conference. All right, and it allows review of possible misapplication, misinterpretation of the rules by game officials, allows corrections when error has been made. And you got to be honest. Again, I know. Because it's easy to stars on the logo. All right. One of those stars represent integrity, and one of those stars represent courage. All right. They got 7 attributes those stars represent. And guess what? You gotta let your star shine. Use courage and use integrity. All right. Request for conference must be made prior to the ball becoming live, following the play, which is to be reviewed unless period has officially ended. Coaches direct players to request a timeout to confer referee regarding the possible misapplication of the rule, or the head coach can do it himself, as we read in the rules. Timeout granted, charged to the requesting team. Now listen to this. The referee accompanied by the head linesman or line judge. So if the coach is on the head linesman side, that head linesman is there with you as a shadow in the background. All right. If you go to the line judge side, your line judge go with you as a shadow in the background with you when you go see the coach. At the sideline, directly in front of the team box in the field of play. All right. Rule determines to be, and now here we go. The rule determined to have been applied correctly, the timeout remains charged to the team. Now, what if we gave them what if they out of timeouts and we gave them an official timeout? Well, they get a delay of game foul. All right. 2, foul for delay of game is permissible if permissible timeout has been used. And in F, if you determine that it was applied incorrectly, the correction is made immediately. Timeout previously charged to the team becomes an official timeout. The referee will review and explain the situation to the opposing coach. Where are you going to get chewed out? I laugh because I literally see this happening. Right? Oh, coach, they was right, and yeah, we're going to have to pick up that flag or put that flag on the ground. Yeah, that's fun. But this is the avenue that Coach literally has, right? Now, this is not for questioning judgment calls, right? If you say, Coach, it wasn't a hold, that's not misapplying a rule or misinterpreting a rule. That's your judgment. If you say, Coach, I am not going to call encroachment on that little kid for lining up in the neutral zone, that is not a ground for a misapplication of the rule because that's your judgment. That's your decision. All right? This applies to either you giving 10 yards when it should have been 5, or you giving 10 yards when it should have been 15 yards, and the coach wanted to correct you on that, or the down is incorrect, or something like that. Right? I'm not trying to go too deep into it. All right. Now, on these coach referee conference, right? They can use any timeout conference they want to use. One coach want to go in the middle while you talk to the head coach on the sideline, that's fine. If all the play want to bring all the to the while you step away from all of them and have your conversation with the coach, that's fine. They can use because it's their charge timeout at this point. And because they're charged timeout, they can use any one of the conferences. All right. After a foul is administered to administer the penalty. Here goes the next pet peeve. We're not doing it. We are not doing it as a whole. Let me correct myself. We're not doing it as a whole at all. All right. And all this, I bring receipts. Um, when I come to the ball, when I come to the party, I bring receipts. We're gonna look at this play first. We're gonna look at some officials. I believe they got it right on this one. Let's see. We see the flags come out. Now we see the head linesman and the the referee and the line judge actually give the timeout signals. The umpire threw the flag as well. The umpire just threw the flag and walked on in, right? And we got our head linesman over there just sitting over there chilling. He didn't stop the clock. Listen, when the foul is thrown, we all need to stop the clock, right? All stop the clock. And remember, I told you, I think I brought this up before when I was talking about this, because I remember last year when I was training a clock operator to work some clocks for us, and as I was teaching her the hand signals that what I'm sorry, as I was teaching her the hand signals that she should look out for, she brought something to my attention that I didn't even think about. She goes, "Oh, so when I see an official give a signal with two hands, I stop the clock." I'm like, "Yeah." Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, cool. All right. All right. For any unusual delay in getting the ball ready for play. We're not going to spend too much time on this. I'm gonna make some topics on this. This is a tough one. Um, in Rule 3, Section 4, starting and stopping the game clock, when a team attempts to conserve or consume time illegally, the referee shall order the game or play clock to start or stop. All right. In the case book, it don't really give us no case plays, but it gives us this comment about it. Is there suggested guidelines in determining situations where the team may be conserving or consuming time illegally? And the referee should consider starting or stopping the game or the play clock, as in Rule 346, outside the final 2 minutes of either half. Yes. In general, the referee must be aware of game situations where A, could manipulate the game or play clock by repeatedly committing dead ball fouls, or in other ways, intentionally try to restart the play clock in a situation when it would normally start on the ready in order to manipulate the remaining time. The following represents examples of plays where the referee may need to start or stop the game or play clock to ensure competitive fairness to both teams. All right, 2 people said they couldn't hear me. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Let's see. All right. A, when 19 seconds remaining on the game clock but only 5 seconds remaining on the play clock, the game clock is running in the first period. Team K is in the punt formation on 4th down. K will apparently be kicking into a strong wind. Lineman K26 commits a false start just before the snap. If this occurs, K should be penalized 5 yards if accepted. Now, if the referee shall invoke 346 and start the game clock on the snap. So what are we trying to say here? So if you're kicking a punt into the wind, what it's going to do? It's going to blow back at you. And there's only 19 seconds remaining in that period. And then what you're going to do, you're going to switch. So now you're going to switch and you're going to be kicking away from the wind. A wind going to be kicking with you, whatever, how you say that. Kicking away from the wind. So it's 19 seconds, 5 seconds on the play clock. We don't want to get a delay of game. So we intentionally false start. Well, we know we're going to get a 25-second play clock and it's going to start winding again. So it's a tactic that the team will use to get the play clock to run out so they don't have to kick into the wind. This is where the referee said, no, I understand what you're doing. We're not going to let the clock start until the ball is snapped and you kick. So now you're not going to take advantage of the wind illegally to consume time. All right. B, with the game clock running, A2 does not have its chin strap snapped as the ball is about to become live. In this case, the play clock should be stopped and the player removed from the game for one play unless halftime intermission or overtime intermission occurs. The game clock will start on the snap unless the referee invokes Rule 346. If he felt an advantage was intentionally gained, this list is not intended to be exhaustive, but only to offer guidance to the referees. So again, there's times where the referee say, nope, we're going to let it stop. And there's times the referee say, let it start. 346 is the referee discretion. All right, real quick, I'm not going to really touch this. For a TV radio timeout that is permitted and granted and authorized by the state association policy, we're going to just bypass that one. For a 1 minute intermission between the first and second and third and fourth periods and following a try, successful field goal or safety and prior to the the succeeding free kick. Now, the only thing I want to say about this is these are timeouts, and in like after a touchdown is scored, we do a free kick, or we're flipping the field. This is where we can potentially add more time to the game if we don't strictly adhere to the 1 minute rule, right? The teams and yourself got 1 minute to flip sides, spot the ball within 5 seconds after the 1 minute, set that ready for play. Teams will eat you alive on these time periods. After a score, after a touchdown, the team that got scored on, and especially if they're losing, they're gonna huddle like it's halftime, and they're gonna be over there trying to figure out what to do, and you're gonna be blowing your whistle trying to get them started. All right, you gotta think of yourself as a cowboy herding cows or sheep. We gotta herd them. We gotta push them. We gotta let's go. Walk and talk. Because if you don't, you're gonna eat up not 1 minute, 2 or 3 minutes. And if you do that, now you're mad because you're an hour behind. And you're an hour behind because you didn't take control, and you allow these teams to take a lot more time than needed to get to, remember, 1 minute. Sometimes I yell it out. After the try is over, all right, guys, we got 1 minute. And I just yell out, 45 seconds. All right, 30 seconds. All right, we got 15 seconds. All right, to get them moving. All right, and I believe, okay, yep. That is it. Awesome, we did it. A little more than I like to do, but hey, that's how it is sometimes.